And we are live.
Oh, yeah, sweet.
Awesome.
All right.
So we are live on the YouTube. Wonderful. I will be back in just a couple seconds, but hello. We'll let our 4 viewers get some time to get in here.
Oh, yeah. You can look at my beautiful face until he's back. So I don't know what's on the agenda today. I know for a fact that we're probably going over coaching hires. A lot of stuff. I think 6 or 7 of the 9 teams have chosen a coach. So we're probably, I don't know if we'll go through all of them, but we'll go through the most interesting ones. I know for a fact we'll go over the Falcons and Steelers, obviously. But we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of coaching candidates that still haven't been interviewed by teams. I think a lot of guys are waiting for the Rams to finish up their season, but
Yeah, for sure.
we'll see what we get into. I don't know what's on the agenda, Santoro. What do we got today? Like,
All right.
obviously, we'll do the games.
Yes. So my thought is we're first going to talk about the divisional games, the 2 games last Sunday that we haven't gotten a chance to talk about yet. And then we'll do future outlooks for the losing teams. We'll go over our picks and predictions for this week. And then we can move on to those head coaching hires afterwards. For those of you watching, Ethan will not be joining us today due to the snowstorm. So,
not due to the snowstorm, because he felt like he had to shovel during the podcast.
how you're going to call him out like that?
Yeah.
All right.
That's
Let's
right.
get
I got
started.
a snowblower. I don't have to shovel. I snowblow.
There you go.
Shoveling's for people who, I don't know, people who don't want to hurt their back shoveling.
All right. I am going to share my screen. Let's see. I'm going to pull up. Well, that's not it. Give me a sec. Should be able to just pull up. There it is. Wonderful. Okay, let's start with this game. The Texans and the Patriots.
Yep. It's an unfortunate one for our predictions, but.
Well, I just want to start by saying I truly believe if the Texans had their backup quarterback, Davis Mills, in, they would have posted a better result. Because look at C.J. Stroud's numbers and quarterback rating. 28. I read somewhere that if you spiked the ball every snap of the freaking game, you would have like a 35 or something. Like, what an abysmal... Like, this might be the worst quarterback outing that we have seen in a playoff game in a long time. Like, 4 interceptions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't... For me, I've never... I apologize. I'm getting over a head cold, so I might have to constantly sniff and my lungs out all the time. But I've never really understood a lot of the hype over CJ Stroud. Like I think he had a pretty good second year. Like, I'll give him that. But I think the Texans have an overall very good team. And so really it's very shocking that they couldn't, or he couldn't perform better, especially because the Patriots, they're not a powerhouse in my mind. Like, they're a great team this year based off their record, based off of where they are in the season. I thought that they would put up a lot more of a fight than that. And he played like crap. Like, he played worse than he played against Pittsburgh, and they still won against Pittsburgh because of their defense. But it seems like their defense also couldn't really stand the task against the Patriots. So,
well, and I mean, part of that is they had to defend short fields all the time, because Stroud kept turning the ball over, Yeah,
I forget what play I saw. It was just atrocious that he threw. And there's a lot of them, but I can't really remember too far. That was a week ago, but I was watching the game, like, or at least some of the highlights too. Like, what in the world do you think about when you throw some of those passes for interceptions? Like, I don't know. He seems like he had no idea how to read a defense, no idea how to just read a play that they called. It was weird.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the other issue is too, though. Like, I want to take a look here for a second at their run game because I don't think their run game really got going at all. Yeah, look at that. I mean,
No, I mean they don't have much of a run game in general. I think
yeah,
they're one of the either late middle pack or back of the pack rushing teams as far as standings go and rushing yards and touchdowns. So it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't run the ball. How many
yeah. I
times did
mean,
he throw the ball?
look at this,
40. He almost threw the
47.
ball 50 times.
Yeah, I mean, that's not
That's
sustainable either.
insane.
But I remember we talked about the Texans not having a consistent rushing game. I mean, look at this. Woody Marks, 14 attempts for 17 yards. That's almost a
17
yard a
yards.
yard per carry.
Zero, I mean, they had zero rushing touchdowns, which that's evident based off the fact they couldn't do anything on offense. But I mean, there was a fumble in there. I see a fumble, and that
Yep.
fumble was lost as
Yep.
well. So just add that to the turnover tally.
And then you go over to Drake May,
So,
100.7 QB rating,
yeah,
only one interception. And look at their rushing game. Ramondre Stevenson goes for 70 yards. That's really big.
yeah. Henderson got
Um,
25. Drake
here's what
May had,
here's
I
what
mean,
I
he only had
wrote.
10, but
Drake May fumbling 4 times and losing 2 of them is not ideal, but I mean some of that was the weather.
sure.
But it was a very turnover-driven game. Like there was lots of
Right. I was going to say on
turnovers.
both sides, it's just the Patriots capitalized. I mean,
Right.
Drake May threw for 3 touchdowns. I'm assuming, was there other touchdown, a defensive touchdown? I think that's what
Well,
I
yeah,
saw.
they had a pick six.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at also look at Kayshawn Booty. I mean, he's been incredible. I mean, he kind of came out of nowhere this year. Like we saw flashes of
Yeah.
him last year, but this year he's been pretty consistent. So with him and Stephon Diggs, and
Yeah, I mean,
Hunter.
scroll up to Drake May stats too. I wasn't very impressed with him neither. Like,
I mean, it's a lot
um,
better than Stroud was. That's for sure.
well, sure. I mean, the touchdown to INT ratio is better. He's still. I'm looking at sacks too. He got sacked 5 times though, and that probably. I mean, that's pretty on par for the Texans defense.
Right.
I'm also not surprised as to why he fumbled it 4 times if that's the case. And he only lost 2 of those. It looks like so.
Well, here's what I will
But
also
in
say.
all, like I'm looking at the completion percentage, the attempts that he 27 attempts. That's a pretty average
Yeah.
passing attempt per game. Only 16 completions though. That's not very good out of almost 30 attempts. That's almost
Well,
a 50% percentage.
I'll tell you the difference in
Um,
this game is that it was a bad weather game and the Patriots were the team that could run the ball
right.
successfully.
Yeah.
Because if we look
I mean,
at
if you're looking at Drake May's stats there, they're not very impressive either. He has less interceptions, less turnover. Well, I guess he doesn't even have less turnovers, does he? Did Stroud fumble a lot, or did he just throw picks?
Stroud threw a bunch of picks. Stroud was
Right.
4 interceptions. 4 interceptions.
No fumbles
Whereas
though.
May was 1 interception and 2 fumbles lost. He
So it's
didn't have
still
any
four
fumbles.
turnovers.
Three
I
turnovers for
mean,
May. Yeah. And
yeah,
then
three
four
for
for
him. I
Stroud.
mean, that's still a lot of quarterback turnovers, though. To be honest with you,
It is, yeah.
quite honestly, yeah, the quarterback play was almost identical in my mind. It's just one got a short field, the other didn't, so it was probably a little bit easier to score
Well,
touchdowns.
that and the other thing, like I said too, is one team was able to run the ball. I mean, look at the rushing
Yeah,
yard difference. Patriots
yeah,
had
that's
over
crazy.
100,
100 was at 105 to 48.
48. Yeah,
That's pretty
you're
bad.
not going to win a playoff game with 48 rushing yards. I can tell you that. Um, you know, but also look at the defensive side. I mean, sacks were kind of even 5-3. Interceptions though,
Yeah,
the Patriots with 4 interceptions. That's just crazy. That's insane.
I mean, I kind of knew that C.J. Stroud wasn't going to have a good game after he played against Pittsburgh. Like I don't know that I can call him the future of the Texans if we want to go that route with this a while. I just can't see it after. I mean, after this year, they have the defense. They have. It seems like they have the offensive pieces. That's just another situation in my mind where like you're gonna have to contemplate your quarterback room because if it comes to playoff time and your quarterback does this, that's a big problem. It
Well,
doesn't matter what you do in the regular season at this point. If your quarterback comes into these high pressure situations and does that twice in a row, really, 2 games in a row, he kind of lays an egg. I
I
don't know.
think
That's what I want on my team if I'm Houston.
I think he struggles in cold weather. He reminds me a little bit of Tua in cold
Well,
weather. Like he just shrinks in
still
cold
a little
weather.
bit.
Think about it. I mean, in Pittsburgh, he didn't play that well. I mean, like,
No, he played arguably the same. He threw, I think, 3 interceptions and
yeah,
had a fumble. So
right,
it's just the defense scored 2 touchdowns. That's how
right,
they won that game.
yeah. Um, so I mean, this win for New England, yes, it was against the number one defense in the league. Some people say that Seattle Seahawks defense is number one. Maybe statistically it is, but the Texans just have so many playmakers, and they've been the consistent number one defense this year, in my opinion.
The Texans they just play with they beat you with brute force. That's really
Yeah,
what it is. The Seahawks, I think they're more of a schematically sound.
I
We're gonna
agree.
we're gonna we're gonna
Yes.
play against the weakness of the opponent, and we're gonna get an exploit. The Texans, I'm pretty sure they just run straight up base defense most of their game,
Well,
and they beat you with their rush.
I forget which Patriots receiver said this after the game, or somebody on the Patriots. They said we were expecting man coverage and we just had to beat it. I think it was Kayshon Boutte. So
Yeah,
it's like the Texans just line up man on man, dog against
that's what yeah,
dog.
that's what they
Who
do.
wins? Who wins?
They beat you. They beat you with brute force. They make you make those quick decisions. I mean, it's evident that's why it worked for the most part against Pittsburgh. We couldn't really complete the ball down the field. Their corners were locking us up. But against the Patriots, it's tough when you play a short. You can't really play man to man on a short field like that mostly because you're going to let flat routes out. You're going to let crossing routes go, and if one guy is not in position, it's going to be an easy touchdown.
Exactly.
If they did that in the red zone, that explains a lot as to why New England put up 3 touchdowns on them.
So
Yeah, that's.
my question for you then is, what's the future outlook for the Texans then after this loss? I mean, where do they go from here if you were running the Texans right now?
I mean, you have to get a running game. So whatever they need to do to incorporate that into their game planning, whether that's get maybe they don't even need better running backs. I think Woody Marks is he suffices as a decent number one. I don't think he's a true number one. I think that both of their guys in there, who they have, Marks and Nick Chubb, right?
Yeah.
That's who they have.
Well, Marks is a
I
rookie.
think,
I actually like
yeah.
Marks a
I mean,
lot.
we'll see about him. Chubb, he's past his prime. He's injury prone too, so they need to kind of solidify their backfield. And now, if Woody Marks can jump up into that number one role indefinitely, then okay. But then what's their problem with the running game? Then that would be my question. Is it offensive line related? Is it schematically having issues? Can they not execute whatever game plan they had as far as running? I don't know what scheme they run. If it's inside outside zone or if it's something different, but um,
I think part of it
they
is
just need, they
offensive
need to
line
solidify
play.
the running game.
Well,
What's that?
yeah. I think part of it's offensive line play.
Yeah, I mean
But
C.J. Stroud got strip sacked quite a few times,
yeah,
so I think that's probably their biggest thing. Get some better guys up front and run the ball. Figure out how to run the ball. Because if C.J. Stroud's not going to work out, which I don't think he will, to be honest with you, I'll be honest, and I'll eat my words if he ends up being like a top 10 quarterback in 5 years. But I am always against Ohio State produced quarterbacks, and that's weird coming from a guy who has Will Howard on the bench on his team. But I don't really have that much faith in Will Howard like that either. But every time I see an OSU quarterback go play football in the NFL, it's always a disaster waiting to happen. You look at who are the last couple of Ohio State
Justin
quarterbacks. You got
Fields was a
C.J.
big one.
Stroud, Justin Fields, Will Howard is a future. We'll see how that goes. But before that, who else was it? There was Dwayne Haskins, which R.I.P. Dwayne Haskins, but he was not
Yeah.
he was not a good quarterback coming out of the draft either. He was garbage. he never made a starting roster. I don't think.
Well, it just seems like every Ohio State QB that comes in has a lot of hype, right? Like it's like so hyped up.
Mhm.
And then, at first I thought CJ Stroud was going to be the one to break that because he had such a great, what was it, second year? It was his second year that was, or
Yeah,
was it
yeah.
his
His
rookie
second
year?
year was solid.
Or it was his rookie year.
It
Either
was
way,
a
he
second
came
year.
in, took him to the playoffs, and it was like eye opening. Like he was completing passes down the field. He was really comfortable, and I was like, okay, this guy
Yeah,
might be legit.
he
But
was utilizing his weapons too. Like Nico Collins had a crazy year last year because of the way CJ Stroud was able to pass the ball, and for some reason, it's just this year they weren't able to do that. I don't know why.
well, they didn't have the run
I don't
game this
know.
year. They didn't have
True,
any sort
I'm
of
just
run
I don't
game.
know if it's a deficiency in the development of Stroud or if it was really the run game. Like the thing is, like good quarterbacks can overcome no run game. It's just
Yeah, but it's
I don't
infinitely
think he's good
harder
enough to do
because then the defense doesn't respect any play action if you don't have any run game.
that. No, you're right. You're right. Yeah,
So
play action is huge, especially in today's era of football where you're trying to even RPO, like RPO
yeah,
schemes, like that's essentially play action. If you can't run the ball, you're never
right.
going to get RPOs to work. You're never going to get any play actions to work. So
So
yeah, I
future
think
outlook on the Texans.
their defense is solid for the Texans. They don't really have to make too many changes. Maybe on the back end like safety, but their cornerbacks are elite. So it's like, do they really need to double up on or elite safety talent to move forward? Probably not. They can probably rely on their corners. Um, their line is great. Their linebackers are good. Their offensive line is probably the most work. I feel like we're talking a lot about offensive lines lately. Like
Well, I mean,
that's kind of
with the
that's the
Chargers, it
theme
was
of
just injuries. But yeah, I mean, you need good offensive and defensive lines to win the Super Bowl. I mean, look at the four
yeah.
teams remaining. Rams, great
Right. I
offensive
was actually
line,
just gonna
great
say that. Yeah.
defensive line. Seahawks, great on both sides. Denver, great on both sides. Patriots are
Yep.
great on both sides. Like all of them have good trenches. And I mean,
Good trenches. Yep.
that's what it comes down to. Like you can have
Oh, and
all
you look
the
at
elite.
the most recent Super Bowl winners too. I think the most recent, like maybe minus the Chiefs. The Chiefs are always an offensive line uh, issue team in my mind. But you look at the Eagles last year. You look at the Eagles in all of their playoff runs lately. Like they've gotten there because of their offensive line play. The reason that Saquon had an MVP season last year was
Was the
because of
O
his
line.
offensive line.
Yep.
And you don't got to question the Eagles' defensive line.
Yeah.
They've been a masterclass at drafting defensive line for the last like
Oh my
10 years.
goodness. Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
you know, same with some of these other teams. Like the defenses are good now in the NFL. It just sucks to see all the rule changes because we can't see a lot of the peaks from these defensive lines. But I think the Texans are a pretty good idea of what peak defensive line looks like. To be
I
honest with you,
think I think that if I'm the Texans, I want to get some offensive linemen. I want to get another wide receiver because I know they have a lot of young
yeah,
receivers now, but you got Nico Collins, Christian Kirk, and then you have Higgins and Hutchinson, but like I feel like they could use one more. Like you put Nico Collins as a
Higgins is a
one.
pretty up
They
and coming star right
He
now.
is. He is.
Is
If
he a
he keeps,
rookie?
he is. Yeah. If he
Yeah,
keeps going like he's going, I mean, tight end. I think they're fine. Dalton Schultz is a great tight end. They
yeah,
need
yeah. He's decent.
offensive line, and I would say they should try to go out. You know what would be a big signing for them? Get offensive line, and Kenny Walker is a free agent this year. Imagine if they signed
Oh
Kenny
yeah,
Walker and bulk up their offensive line. They would actually have a legit run game,
yep,
and you pair that up with Nico Collins, getting back and healthy again, and then maybe
yeah,
another receiver. And that same
yep.
defense, you can run it back with that defense. It's crazy good.
Absolutely. Yep.
So,
Cool.
all right. Well, moving on to our next game that we have to go over from last week. The last one we have to go over, I should say, is the Rams against the Bears. And that was a really fun game to watch. Um, my thoughts on that game come down to Ben Johnson's decisions on fourth down.
Yeah,
Because yet
which is
again,
shocking. Ironically, like
yet
um,
again, if he were to just take the points in certain situations, the Chicago Bears would be in the NFC Championship game this week.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
so, I mean, if you look, I mean, look at Matt Stafford right here. 67.4. I mean, he did not play a good game at all.
Nope.
He was
Yeah, I mean,
missing
talk about
throws.
quarterbacks that sucked. He also did not play well
Yeah.
at all.
But look at this, though. They got the run game going. Kyron Williams, 87 yards. He got 4 yards per carry. They brought Blake
Yeah,
Corum in for a couple snaps, and he got 3 yards a carry. You know, so their run game was good.
yeah,
Kyron Williams with 2 touchdowns. On the receiving end, I mean, obviously Puka's going to get his, but Parkinson's been a big
yeah.
tight end for them this year. So, I mean, they just have weapons everywhere. I mean, look at this. They've got Parkinson at tight end, Nakua. Devontae Adams was really non-existent this game, but they have him still too. Like, this offense is crazy good.
They have a very Buccaneer Tom Brady Buccaneers era vibe with their
Yeah,
team right now.
I would
Like
agree with that.
all
Yeah.
the skill players just at every position, like first and second on the rosters.
And
Like it
then,
seems like they don't have a weak spot on offense. It's crazy.
oh yeah, no, they don't have any weakness on offense. Their only weakness on offense is if Matt Stafford decides to play a bad game, which is very few and far between.
Well, and
Caleb,
was this in Chicago, right?
this was yeah, it was the
Yeah,
really
and it
cold
was
game.
also a weather
Yeah,
game, wasn't it?
yes, it
Like it
was
was
freezing,
snowing and freezing. Like so that
freezing.
I mean, you're talking about an LA court, but to be fair, Matt Stafford played in Detroit, so
Yeah,
is that really an issue? Probably not. But he's been playing in LA for the last how many years? So he's probably gotten a little bit used to the warm weather down there. Um, well, in a dome at that, to be honest with you. They don't play outside,
as
but
great.
yeah, I mean I don't have too much to say about this game. It's honestly it was very reminiscent of the first one we reviewed because if you look at the turnover ratio, the team with most turnovers lost because it was a close game. You think about it, they went to overtime, and you think about if the Bears didn't have 3 turnovers,
Well,
how
yeah,
would that have
because
affected the
look
Rams'
at the
ability to
Bears. The
score?
Bears beat them on every single offensive stat,
Yeah,
and then except they turned the ball over 3 times. You know.
yep,
So here's my thing. This is what I'm getting to right now. If Ben Johnson just takes the field goal sometimes, especially in a playoff game where points are at a premium,
yeah. Oh
um,
gosh,
and I actually do love Caleb Williams. He's an insane player with insane talent. I
he's
mean,
another rookie that, or not rookie, but like when he was drafted, I wasn't sure about. Just because I
his
didn't really pay attention to him too much in college, and I was like, he looks decent, and then he's only gotten better his last 2 seasons. It's been insane.
yeah, I
Um,
mean his
like
talent.
I can't believe the jump in just skill alone. Like he must be working super hard compared to other people every day because some of those throws that he's making, like yeah, there's sometimes random chance, but that last touchdown he threw where he just
Yeah,
backpedaled, spun, and completely just raw arm strength
yeah,
threw that to the corner of the end zone, that's like vintage quarterback play right there. That's something
yeah.
to be excited about if you're a Bears fan.
Oh,
I'll be honest
absolutely.
with you.
Here's what he needs to clean up the turnovers. There are way too many times this season where I have seen Caleb Williams make the stupidest
The
throws for
dumb, yeah.
interceptions.
Well,
Like,
that's being a young guy. Like that's
yeah,
what. The thing is, he's turning into your stereotypical gunslinger, like Brett
yes,
Favre, Big
yeah,
Ben style.
yes,
Like someone people who grew up in that era, such as me and you, me a little bit more than you, but because I got to watch some of the more early 2000s before you did.
yeah.
But like gunslinger quarterback was the peak quarterback in that day and age. You had people like Big Ben.
Drew
Um,
Brees was another one.
you had Drew Brees, Brett Favre, still Donovan McNabb, like all these dudes. It was like even a little bit before that era with like people like you forget like John Elway is not that out removed from like that
Right.
current or that quarterback era that I grew up in, but John Elway was the quintessential. I think him and Brett Favre were the quintessential gunslingers in the '90s. And then once the 2000s came, it kind of turned over to like Big Ben, Drew Brees.
I will
Um,
say Aaron Rodgers.
even Aaron Rodgers, I would say,
I
was a
was
bit
just
of a
about to say.
gunslinger in his young days. But
Yes.
But that's what Caleb Williams right now reminds me of, is just the
Absolutely.
dude that goes out there and just makes a play no matter where he throws, like no matter what he has to do. He'll throw it from the right sideline to the left sideline without looking, just because he knows there's a guy there and there's a potential for a big play. And he'll let it loose. And it's crazy. I still that one throw that he made, I was still watching replays of it for a while. Like I could not believe the arm talent that he possesses right now. Now that guy, that could change, but we'll see.
I'll,
Again, I'm not gonna be high on him forever because he does need to clean some stuff up. He definitely needs to get in the film room a little bit and get smarter. But I think the Bears also have a pretty well rounded roster too. Like they're not really, there's no real gaps in their roster in my mind. Maybe
defensively.
defensively,
Yeah.
but I mean, when you're holding the Rams to 20 points, I think that's a pretty good defensive team right there.
Yeah. I mean, I will say the Bears, what they need to do, I mean, they need to clean up some defensive stuff. I mean, that's what killed them all season. Whenever they lost a game, it's because their defense, I mean, that shootout game against the Bengals, I don't know if you remember that, where both teams
Yeah,
scored like 30 some
I
points.
do.
Um, like,
Yep.
they need to clean up defense, and Caleb Williams needs to clean up his turnovers. Um, on the offensive side of the ball, they have so many pieces. They don't need to do anything offensively. Even their offensive line was great this year. What they need
Yep.
to improve on is the defense. Their defensive line could get a little bit better, build up in the trenches there, and then maybe like another piece in the secondary. But
Yeah.
overall, though, if you're the Bears, you have to be excited about the future. You have Caleb Williams entering his prime, pretty soon. And then you have Ben Johnson, who is one of those young elite head coaches. The Bears will be relevant for the next, I could see, several years, barring,
Yeah.
significant injury. But,
Well, and on the Ben Johnson note, like he needs to be smarter himself if he wants to
yeah,
put his team in a position to succeed. I think I said on one of our podcasts a bit ago, like I'm not a fan of the Madden style of coaching right now. Like it literally seems like some of these head coaches are playing Madden out there with their strategy. And it's like,
right,
okay, like there's times to be aggressive, but in a playoff game where you're about to go on a run to the NFC championship game, um, you take the points because I mean look at the score. You lost by
right.
3 points.
In overtime.
If you'd have taken those 3 points, you win that game without even going to overtime.
Right.
And because you decided to stupidly go for it and be aggressive, you failed your team because well, either they couldn't execute, which is fine, but was it that or the play call that was, bad? I don't know. But
Or was
when
it quite simply just the decision to do that? That was the
I mean,
problem.
yeah,
Like,
that could be it too. But your players have to execute whether you choose to go
sure,
for it or not. Like the punt could have been blocked, or the field goal could have been blocked, or
sure.
mishandled, or whatever. But that's a lot less of a chance than not convert, or that's a less of a chance happening than converting a fourth and whatever it was at that
Fourth
moment
and
in
goal.
time.
I
Like,
mean, they
yeah,
went for fourth and goal like twice in the game, and they didn't get
yeah.
either of them. I
Well,
mean, if you
how
take
long was the fourth and goal that they
it was
ultimately
four or
didn't get
five
points on?
yards, 4 or 5 yards.
Yeah. So all right. So that's my point. Is you're on fourth and goal at the 5 yard line. The chances of that being converted to a touchdown right there is so slim compared to scoring 3 points. It's like, why would you even think about going for it there? Unless it's a dire moment in the game. Like, it wasn't even that dire of a moment at that point,
Well,
was it?
they had several chances to take the lead slash
Yeah.
tie the game with a field goal, and I mean Ben Johnson needs to be a little bit like he's turning into Dan Campbell. He's a smarter version of Dan
Yeah. That's
Campbell.
who I think of is Dan Campbell, that dude. Like,
But I mean, if you take the points in this game, you're probably in the NFC Championship right now because the Rams actually did not look great offensively for most of that game. They were
no, I
stalling
mean,
out a lot.
I'm looking at stats with you I'm on my laptop here as well. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
there's not a lot that I see positive about the Rams in this game. Like, about the only thing is probably the fact that it looks like Stafford didn't even throw for a touchdown.
Yeah,
Now
they
he didn't
relied
turn
a
it
lot
over
on
like
rushing
that,
yards for sure.
but they ran the ball, and then
But I mean, the Bears were moving the ball down the field at certain points of this game. I feel like the Bears
yeah,
looked offensively like the superior team at points.
right.
But then again,
Well,
you
again,
have
it's
interceptions. You
Williams
you have
turnovers. Yeah, that's the
stupid
point. That's the point of the whole.
interceptions and decisions that I honestly don't agree with. From Ben
Yeah,
Johnson. I mean,
yeah. It's. I mean, again, for as good as his raw arm talent and skill is, the decision making from Williams and Ben Johnson, I think that's the problem with this game.
you
Everything
know
else
what
seems
though? I trust
pretty
them to clean
overpowered
that
on the
up.
Bears side, to be
I
honest.
th- I think they'll clean that up, and I think if they were in this situation in another game, I think maybe they would think about it again. Here's one decision I did like though from Ben Johnson. When you score that touchdown, he kicked the extra point. He was talking about how he was thinking about going for two to win the game
Yeah,
instead of
I
overtime, and
saw
it's
that.
like
Yep.
you got to kick the extra point there. You have
Yeah,
all the
it's
momentum.
the thing when it like the thing when it gets to playoff football. Now, I know everyone wants to be aggressive because they want to put the pressure on the opposing team, but the best way to put pressure on the opposing team is scoring points and scoring the points that you should be scoring. Um, like you score a touchdown, don't be aggressive and go for two on your first score of the game. Because
Right,
if you don't make that, then chances are if that other team comes back and scores on you, they're kicking the field goal to put pressure on you because now you're down a point.
right.
You know, it just comes to backfire every single time that I've seen teams do that. Um, it was very like when they changed the 2 point conversion rule and the field goal, the extra point rule to the 30-yard kick, you know, and you saw a lot of teams experimenting with going for two more often. You saw a lot of games that came down to 1 point, 2 points because they were trying to be aggressive there and figure out the system. Well, now that kickers are on steroids, it seems no one really cares about a 33-yard field goal anymore to get the extra point.
Yeah.
Um, and now again, you're seeing like, why are we diverging from extra points to trying to go for two and be aggressive in certain scenarios? Like, just take the points. If you take the points, you're gonna be fine. I don't know what goes through these coaches' minds when they're discussing that.
Well, and like you
I just
mentioned previously, you had mentioned before, your defense gets paid to make stops. Take the points,
right,
put them out
trust your
there.
team.
You know,
Like,
yeah,
I
exactly.
don't know,
And
like
and
that. If I was a player in my this is if I was a player, and now obviously I'm not a player. I've never played football myself. Only study the game through watching it, like I do every week. Um, if I'm a player though, and I'm on Ben Johnson's team right there, I do feel like he let the team down a little bit with some of those decisions. And I do feel like he didn't trust certain people on that team to do things. And part of that is trusting your defense to make a stop after you take the points. Like if you can't trust your defense to at least limit the opposing team to 3 points so that you can give your offense another chance, then there's a problem and you probably need to address that in the offseason.
right.
So
Well, yeah, I mean they need to address defense. Their secondary got toasted most of this year. I mean,
mhm.
they need to bulk up on their secondary, maybe get another defensive lineman. Their linebackers are pretty good. They don't need to go out and like get another one, but like it's the secondary and the defensive line that they need to shore up. But you know what though? They can focus on that because they have the offense figured out. Caleb is going to get better, especially with an offensive minded head coach like Ben Johnson. They
Right.
have a bright future. I'm not worried about the Bears. I just think not that they threw this game away, but this was a very winnable game for
And
them.
they kind of did. They
Yeah,
kind of
I
did.
mean, if anyone threw the game away, I mean, who's we always say like whose fault is it? Like it's a team game. I don't know if I say what would you say? Is this Caleb Williams or is this on Caleb or is this on Ben?
I mean, I think it's on Ben Johnson. Like,
I
yeah,
think so
Caleb
too.
Williams threw three interceptions, but how many? Let me just look quick. How many points off of turnovers did that result with? Like, um, I don't have a specific stat here that says that. I don't think not on the the box score or anything, but to me, you look at the turnovers, but then you look at the points off of turnovers, and so I don't know what that number is. Is that I don't know if that's on your chart right there at all.
I don't think so.
But
I'm pretty sure they scored on either one or two of them. I think one of them was a Kyron Williams touchdown, and another might have been a field goal. So I think if I had to guess, I think they got 10 of their points off turnovers, and they only scored 20. So
yeah,
that means half of their points are coming from Caleb interceptions, if that's true.
Yeah. Well, let me see if I can find that stat real quick. Because whenever I see turnovers, like the number one thing with the turnover ratios is like you can have. I've seen teams win with high turnover rates because they just make the stops afterwards. I mean, Pittsburgh this year was a huge culprit of turning the ball over, or rather, getting turnovers while on defense, and then the offense just not doing anything with it.
Yeah.
So like turnovers don't tell the whole story. It just depends on how much your defense lets up after that. Um, I can't really find the stat specifically, but
I mean,
anyway, like
regardless,
let's just assume at least two of those turnovers generated points. Like
like I
if
said, I
two of
think
your
one
three
was a
turnovers generate,
yeah, one was a touchdown, one was
um,
a field goal. I think.
yeah. So okay, so 10 points. If you remember, if you're confident with that, we'll go with that. Um, but you just gave the Rams 10 points.
And that's
Okay,
20 points that they scored all game.
and And here's the thing. I even consider that three. I'd say they gave them 7 points because I consider a field goal off of a turnover a successful
Oh,
stop by the
yeah,
defense.
yeah,
Um, like the fact that your defense got a short field and didn't allow a touchdown is huge. And if you can't come away with that, thinking that that's a victory on your defensive side, then you got problems. But you got to rely on your offense to do that and finish up their drives and score a touchdown for their field goal, which obviously the Bears didn't do. Um, because Caleb Williams probably turned it over again, if I had to say. So I think I'm gonna have to go, even though the interceptions happened and they got 10 points off of them, the score was only a 3-point game. So they could have just kicked the field goal
right.
twice.
I mean, we go back
Realistically, you said they
to
had two opportunities. I think it was two opportunities
yeah,
they
they
went
had
for it,
two
right?
fourth and goals. They could
So
have kicked field goals on both of
so
them.
if they kicked two field goals and got 6 points, this game never comes down to overtime.
Oh yeah,
You know.
absolutely.
Now I'm not saying that they like if they kicked the field goal and took points, the Rams mentality changes obviously to what
Right,
their offensive style will be the next drive because stopping a team on the 5 yard line,
and
okay,
having to
you're
go
going to be run
95
heavy.
yards.
You're going to be
Yeah,
run heavy mode to get the first couple of yards to get yourself out of the end zone. Then you can start playing offense. But if they kicked a field goal, had the kickoff, you never know what happens. They could have returned it 35, 40
true.
yards. A fumble could happen on the kick, stuff like that. So we won't know for sure what would happen, but you could at least guarantee yourself 6 more points in the game there.
Yeah.
So
Um,
I blame Ben Johnson. That's who I blame.
yeah, I would agree with that. But it is his first year as a head coach, so I mean, this is his first year having to
Yeah,
make
and
those types of
yeah,
decisions.
exactly.
He'll get better at it. The Bears will be a top tier team in the NFC next year. I can,
And I'm
I
sure I didn't watch a lot of his interviews, but I'm sure he took as much blame as he possibly could
oh yeah,
in the
yeah, he
interviews.
did
Like,
absolutely. And so future outlook for the Bears for me is positive. Just shore up a couple things on the defensive side, and they'll be good to go. That would be my take on that.
yeah, I think they probably have the best team in the NFC North right now.
Oh yeah,
Even with the
probably.
Packers. I mean, once the Packers get healthy, I think they're pretty dangerous. So really, it's between those two teams, the Packers and Bears. Going to be a pretty close race if they stay healthy next year, both teams.
Yeah, absolutely. So here are the results from the divisional round, and I know Ethan's not with us today for those of you watching. But he did submit to me his picks for these two games today, and we are
Okay.
all tied up now with all three of us
Yeah.
for our playoff records. Because last week I chose the Rams, and if you remember, I chose them strictly based off coaching and experience, having that playoff experience. And
Mhm.
to be honest, I think that's why they won. They had the better
Yeah,
coach.
I think so.
They played more strategically, and that's why they won that game. So I was correct on that prediction. But so that puts us at, let me see here, 2, 3. Are we at? Is it 4-6 now? Did I count that correctly? Ethan has this written down.
Think so. Yeah, because him and I weren't we 5-5? Him and I on picks,
Yes. So we're
or we
four
were
and
4-4.
six.
Yeah, 4-4 we were.
Yeah, because I got 3 out of 4 of them correct in the divisional round. The only one I
Yeah,
got wrong was the Texans Patriots game. Um,
yeah.
so we are all 4-6, which is horrible. The wild card round completely destroyed all of us. Um, but
Yeah.
these two picks today, these are going to be two actually really good games, I feel like. Let's start with the one that's going to be on at 3 p.m. today, Eastern Time. We have the Patriots visiting Mile High. And
Oh boy.
fun fact,
Fraud versus fraud.
Patriots have never beaten the Broncos in the AFC Championship game
I
in
saw that.
Denver.
I saw that stat too. That's actually
So,
kind of crazy. I didn't realize that.
yeah, so Tom Brady couldn't even get it done. Um,
Yeah,
so
well, Tom Brady was going against Peyton Manning during those years, probably. So
right. And I mean the Broncos defense, was elite at that time. Um, so let's start there. We've got the Broncos with Jared Stidham. I believe they're
oh
coming in
boy.
as a 7-point underdog. I think they're a touchdown underdog today.
Yeah, it's pretty high actually for for the
Well, first off,
for
what I
this
want to say
the
is
money
like
line.
with Bo Nix, I mean that's just such a horrible like I truly believe if Bo Nix was healthy, I think the Broncos would win today. Um, do I think they still could win? Sure, but like they're going to need a lot of things to go right for that to happen. And Jared Stidham has not like he took first team reps all week, but he hasn't played since the preseason. His internal clock is going to be running so fast, like he's not
Yeah,
going to be seeing the game slowly. And that Patriots defense, whether we want to admit it or not, that is the stronger part of their team, in my opinion. Like they have
yeah,
Christian Gonzalez at corner. Their trenches, their defensive line is really great. They generate pressure, generate sacks, and their run defense is really good. So I mean, the Patriots are no joke on the defensive side. Um, so I don't know. What are your thoughts on this game?
um, I mean, it's gonna hopefully be a good one. Like I really hope that it's gonna be a lot more competitive than a lot of their games during the regular season. I mean, the Broncos. The thing about them is they always have competitive games. We've talked about this plenty of times. All of their wins that were important this year have been
Yep,
decided by like
a field
3 points or
basically.
less.
Yeah,
So I mean, just looking at records, they're both 14-3. That's as even as you can get, obviously, record wise. So that's
Patriots
gonna be
did
cool.
have Patriots did have the easier schedule of the two this year. The
They did.
Broncos
We've
had
been
a
talking
more
about that for a
difficult.
while. I
Yeah,
mean, I joked about it when we started the conversation here, but it's the battle of the frauds that we've been saying for a while.
yeah, but you know
And
what? We
now
can't
look,
call
okay,
them.
we can let up
Yeah,
on we
we
can let up on that argument. Like
can't
as
call them
funny as it
frauds.
was, we can
Yeah,
stop calling them frauds. They're not frauds, but they do have
they had an easy
significantly
path.
easier paths,
Yes,
which is fine. Like you play who you play. You can't argue
right.
that. Um, and so that's one thing. That's why we keep questioning their abilities, but they keep beating who's put in front of them. So we can't
Real,
diss them on that one. We don't
real
control
quick,
that. So
Andrew. Real quick.
yeah,
Is true or false? The winner of the NFC Championship game wins the Super Bowl.
I agree with that. That's
I would
true. I don't
I would
think,
say so too.
regardless of who we pick for this Denver New England game, I don't think either one of those teams is beating the Rams or the Seahawks. So we will see how that goes. But As far as the New England versus Denver, um, I think I'd have to go with New England just because of quarterback play. I don't realistically see how a basically a first time quarterback in the playoffs, like his first game ever that's important in his life is going to be in the AFC Championship game.
Right.
I don't see how that's a successful scenario for them. Um, Now, unless Sean Payton works a lot of magic and has him 100% prepared for everything possible, and they've gone through
Even
every scenario in their
even
heads,
if
like,
even if he does, let's say he's 100% prepared. Like I said before, and I'm not obviously I've never played the game, but I've seen a lot of quarterbacks, former quarterbacks talk about this, including Nick Foles. He goes, your internal clock, like he's not going to be seeing the game as quickly as Drake may. I mean, this is his first, and in the playoffs, everything amps up. So everything's a lot quicker
yeah. Well,
in the
you
playoffs.
talk about the internal clock. Like, realistically, the phrasing there should be he's not seeing the game as slowly as Drake may.
Yes. Yeah.
When you become a better quarterback, your internal clock speeds up, but that causes your decision making to be able to slow down because what you're doing is you're planning for what's going to happen defensively, and you can recognize blitzes and coverage schemes, and so you know where your hot routes are. You know where you have to adjust your offensive line blocking. If you need to
Right.
pull your running back in and block, like when you snap the ball, you've preset all the things you need to set up, and so your internal clock has the ability to not slow down, but it's hard to explain if you're not a football fan as much as like we are. But when you snap the ball, essentially you want the play to be in slow motion for you because that means that you have everything set up and timed out perfectly. If the game is like quarterbacks say all the time, I was just seeing it too fast, like it was just moving really fast.
Yep.
That means that they weren't prepared in that moment for what's coming. It means that they didn't expect a blitzer to be coming from the left side. They didn't expect the route to be ran a certain way. They didn't expect a coverage to switch up off the snap. Um, that's part of the reason why certain quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers, like Big Ben, like Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, that's part of the reason why they were so good is because they had the ability to predict the outcomes of plays before they happen. But anyway, off of that rant, I don't see Stidham doing that at all. Like it's just
It's
I don't
just
know.
it's such a tough position for him to be in, and like I watched his
Yeah,
interviews this week. He seems like such a great guy. And to be honest with you,
I'm sure he is.
I wish him the best, and honestly, like
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to see him go out there and play a great game and a competitive game.
Dude,
But
if he
to
can if
ask,
he can go out there and knock the Patriots off and go to the Super Bowl, what a story.
oh, I
Like that'd be
know.
awesome.
I know. And the
I just
thing
don't I
is,
just don't realistically see unless their running game is so
which
powerful,
the
then I could see
Broncos,
where he could win the game.
and that's the thing I'm going to say right here. This is where the game lies. Who has the better run game? The Patriots do, with Ramondre
They
Stevenson
do.
and Travion Henderson. They have the better run game. It's more consistent. The Broncos' defense, their strength is their pass defense. So if the Patriots can get the run game going, that's going to open up the passing opportunities. And the Broncos, they have the most sacks in the league. But here's the thing, if the
Yeah.
Patriots get that run game going, that number's going to come down for sacks today. So, on top of the fact that the Patriots are probably going to game plan to try to run the ball, Stidham's going to have to go out there and pass against the New England secondary, which is not that bad. And
Yeah.
I worry that the Broncos are not going to be able to run the ball because the Patriots' defensive line, their run defense is really good.
So I
So,
just wanna point out real quick. To date, Denver is actually better in rushing yards per game than New England, especially in the last like 3 games. I mean, it's not even close, really. Um, 66 yards per game for New England, 126 yards per game for Denver. Now, season wise, they're super close. It's like by two grade points that this site is giving me.
okay.
Um, but as of the last 3 games, Denver actually has the better running game. So something to look at. Now I don't know, like you were saying, defensively, I don't know how good each team's defensive stats are against the rush.
Well, the Broncos defense, their strength is they're able to defend the pass a lot better. They can defend
Sure.
the
I mean,
pass.
they've always been good against the pass. Let me pull up like total defense. It goes to the Broncos, but a lot of that is heavy in their pass defense. I think, which is what
Yes.
you're saying. Patriots are top 10. They're number 8. But if I go to let's go to rushing defense. Rushing defense, the Broncos are actually number 2 with a 91 yards per game average. Now, in the playoffs, they're averaging 183 rushing yards, which is insane.
Right.
If I go to the Patriots, they're number 6, and this is where your argument can come in here. They are worse for the season at 101.7 yards per game. But their defense now in the playoffs is only giving up 67 yards a game.
Right.
That's a
And they've and
huge
they've
difference
and
right
they've
now.
played 2 playoff games. So that's a
Yeah.
big deal right there. You know,
Right.
they've
And that's all.
limited.
I mean, that's something to look at too. Like the Broncos have one game in the playoffs to go off of, and they did get run all over, but
Well, here's the other
they
thing though
still won the
too.
game.
The Chargers and the Texans, their run games are not that great. The Broncos don't have a great run game either. Like RJ Harvey's good, but he's more of a pass catcher. And ever since J.K.
Yeah.
Dobbins got hurt, that was the
Yep.
turnaround. Denver had a good run game until J.K.
Mm-hmm.
Dobbins got hurt. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
RJ Harvey had his moments, but to me, he's more of a pass catcher. And so he's not going to be running as well as Dobbins was when he was healthy. So that takes away, one of the dimensions of their run game is that Harvey's just not going to be as explosive as Dobbins was. Now, I've seen RJ Harvey on a swing pass or a wheel route. I mean, go to the house.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an
Right.
insane pass catcher. Like props to
Yep.
RJ Harvey. I had him in fantasy this year. Pass catching, he's
Nice.
insane. But I worry about them getting the run game started against the Patriots front. You know,
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Again, the Broncos have played one game, and you think they were probably a little bit rusty being on the bye week.
sure. And the
Their
Bills
defense
and the
may not have
Bills with
been
James
sound,
Cook.
and who knows, they might have been out schemed offensively by the opposing team. Like, hey, we're going to run the ball this way because their defense is very, very weak in this certain aspect. Now that lays a blueprint for New England if they want to copy and paste that.
Right.
But
Right.
I don't think that the Broncos will make the same mistake in their rushing defense again if they want to make adjustments for the playoffs. I would hope they would make adjustments. But we'll see how it goes. I mean,
So
let
your
me
your
see.
official prediction is the Patriots. Is that right?
I think New England's gonna win. I think New England will win. I would like for them not to, as much as I'm a Steelers fan. I don't want to see New England in the damn Super Bowl again, but
I'm
you know,
I yeah. As much as I want to give the Broncos a shot, I mean it's going to be it's going to be a difficult task for Stidham. So I'm going to say Patriots win and advance to the Super Bowl. I have Ethan's pick right here. He texted me his pick this morning. He is picking the Broncos to win today. And
is he gonna eat the other chocolate shoe if he loses?
his his argument was he thinks the Denver defense is going to take over and limit Drake May's ability to push the ball down the field. And so the Patriots will not have as many explosive plays.
I mean, Drake May hasn't pushed the ball down the field in his last 2 playoff games, so
Yeah, that's
that
true.
didn't stop them from winning, though.
That's true.
So we'll
But
see.
he's betting on the Broncos defense today to take over and win them the game. So we've got Andrew and I
All
on the
right.
Patriots. Ethan is on the Broncos. So that'll be interesting. I mean, this is our chance to break away from Ethan potentially for our
Yeah.
records. So I'll put the Patriots in there just by more people picking them. All right, let's move on to the game tonight, which is the Rams going to Seattle. And here's a big story from Seattle. Zach Charbonnet is out for the remainder of the postseason
Ooh,
with an injury. So their once
that hurts.
two-headed monster now turns into one head with Kenny Walker. But I mean,
Yep.
Kenny Walker's insanely good. The only difference this is going to have on their rush game is that they're not going to have fresh legs consistently coming into the game. But
Who's
Kenny
their number
Walker,
three? Do they have a good number
oh,
three at all?
what's his name? I forget his name, but he's had reps this year, so he can come in for a couple touches. I just forget his name, but I know that he's been in the game this year though. Oh
Yeah,
man,
that's a huge
I
blow. Actually,
I gotta
I
say this
can't
on the
believe that.
I gotta say this on the podcast. My future father-in-law just texted me, and he goes, "Hey bro, what time is the Eagles playing today? Because I can't find it on my TV guide." Oh man,
They play the same time the Steelers do.
yeah. Oh
So
man,
what's he a fan of?
he's a Giants fan.
Yeah,
So,
that's yeah.
but you know what
I
though,
didn't remember that.
he's got a lot of hope for next year with Harbaugh, I'm sure.
Dude, the Giants are going to be up and coming, and I think they're going to beat the Eagles plenty of times in the next 5 years. To be honest with you,
I think they could win the
just
division
saying.
next
I don't
year.
like to. I
I
don't
think
want to
they
talk
could.
that much crap on the Eagles because they are a really good team for the most part. But I think that the Giants with Jackson Dart and they're young, like they have like one of the youngest teams in football right now.
Yeah,
And them landing. Well, I should. Here's the thing. I don't want to say that John Harbaugh was the best hire for them, but he has the experience that they've been lacking in a head coach since Tom Coughlin. So
exactly, exactly.
we'll see how that goes. I mean, it's a good sign. I think Harbaugh is very pumped up to be in New York with a good market,
I
like
mean,
a big market team.
they're to
So
me their floor next year. Their floor next year to me is like 8 and 9. That's to me. I don't see them
yeah,
going
I
any
think
lower
they're
than
going to
that.
win a lot more than they have been.
Yeah.
And I mean, they've played some good games this year. They just made a lot of mistakes mentally.
Yeah.
I think.
All right. So Rams Seahawks, the big game, arguably the Super Bowl, the Super Bowl
Yeah.
before the Super Bowl. Um, shall I go first?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So this one is such a difficult pick for me because the Rams have skated by. They skated by the Panthers. They
Yep.
skated by the Bears, and that's 2 weeks in a row that they have been on the road in the postseason. That must take a toll. I forget. I think the last team to win 3 road games and make it to the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, was that the New York Giants? The last team to win all
Uh,
3 games on the road to get to the Super Bowl.
I think so.
I think that was the 2012
I know the
Giants,
first
right?
team to do it. I know the first team to do it was the Super Bowl 40 Steelers against the Seahawks. They were the 6th seed and went all the way. I think the Giants did do it when they had their second win against the Patriots, right?
Yeah, that's what I think it was
Yep.
2012. I might be wrong though. Not 2012.
No,
20
that was before that. Like 2000 was it two? No, it might
was
have
it
been.
12? Because they won in
I got
07. They won in 07. But
yeah. The
was that the
07 was
year?
the
That was the year. That was the year, right?
yeah because it was the year right
07.
after the Steelers did it. Like everyone was infatuated about, oh, a 6th seed went on the road all 3 games and won, and then the Giants just went and did it the next year,
And they
which is kind of funny.
destroyed the undefeated season for the Patriots. Yeah.
Yes, that was the year. Yep,
Yeah.
that was the
Um
Tyree helmet catch, wasn't it?
that was the helmet
Yeah.
catch, yeah. All right. Well, for me this is a tough pick. My I want to say the Rams just because of their experience. Like Sam Darnold has played well, but he did not have to. And this is the thing. To be honest with you, I'm talking about this and I still haven't made my pick. I
Yeah.
have reasons for both
Okay.
sides. the Seattle Seahawks are extremely well rested and literally they slept walk through the game last week. I mean,
Yeah.
they didn't have to do anything. So they're extremely well rested and they've been at home for the past month essentially.
I know that's a crazy thing too. They haven't traveled in
their
like
bodies, their
6 weeks.
bodies, their bodies are going to be so much healthier. Like they have the
Yep.
health advantage, they have the stamina advantage. They're at home, they have the fan advantage. I mean, in theory, you would expect Seattle to win this game. The only thing that's holding me back from slamming Seattle is Sam Darnold because last week he
Yeah.
had no competition. You know, he didn't have to do any. I think he threw the ball like 12 completions he had last week.
Yeah.
So, like, this week, I mean, the Rams have been very competitive with Seattle. They split this year, they split their games.
Yep.
And I think
It's a
1
very
point,
low spread too.
yeah,
It's
1
like
point separated them this year in both of their games. Like, if you combine both of their scores from both games, I think the Seahawks win by 1 point. So, you know, it's going to be a close game. The Rams had to go on the road 2 weeks in a row, which is such a difficult thing to do. And now they're on the road again this week.
yeah.
But they have the Super Bowl winning quarterback and head coach, and they know what it takes to get there. And they have people
Yeah.
on that team, not many anymore, but they have some people on that team who were on the 2021 Super Bowl winning roster. So, like, they have experience there. Whereas Sam Darnold's playing in the biggest game of his career, and, you know, he's a very turnover-prone quarterback. Now,
Is he this
Seattle,
year? Is he turnover prone this year?
well, in that game against the Rams, I think he's thrown 6 interceptions against the Rams this year. He threw 4 in one game that they lost, and then he threw 2 in the other that they won.
Yeah.
So it's like
He's
Sam
got
Darnold,
he's got a rough TD to interception rate. He's at 25-14 is his ratio
yeah.
this year.
And in the playoffs, that's not going to fly. Like
He
I
does
said,
have a 108.3 QBR though,
yeah. I
which
mean,
again I don't always take QBR rating as far as raw talent and ability, but he does almost have 70% completion percentage though, and he's got a lot of yards. So he hasn't been bad. It's going to be like that Caleb Williams argument. Will he make the dumb mistakes against the Rams?
which he could. He could. My thing with this game. Oh, by the way, I'll get Ethan's pick out of the way first, since he already submitted his pick to me. He's picking
Okay.
Seattle. He's picking Seattle in this game. So he has Broncos Seahawks for his Super Bowl.
Okay.
You know, for me, this is tough. This is tough. I want to lean Seattle because they do have the better defense, and they have really good offensive pieces. The only thing that holds me back is Sam Darnold. However, Darnold has been good this year. He hasn't really faltered that much this year, as a lot of people were expecting him to.
Yeah.
This is really tough.
These teams are so incredibly even. It's not
Yeah.
even funny. So I just pulled up a stat on ESPN. So this is the third meeting between them this year, right? So they've already played twice. They split. So they're 1-1 against each other.
1 point
The
separates them, right?
margins,
Yeah.
the margins in those games, as far as the score and
Yes.
the total offense,
Yes. It's
are by
identical.
one point and 1 yard.
Yep. It's identical.
That's crazy.
Yep. Yeah, if you're watching this right now, drop your
And here another
Rams
one.
drop your Rams Seahawks picks in the chat so we can discuss. This is the hardest
Yeah.
pick that I've had to make, I feel like, all postseason.
Based off of ESPN as well, this is the number one scoring offense versus the number one scoring defense.
Yes.
In total,
Yep.
offense, and I guess that's taken into everything. And then the scoring defense is points per game is how they're grading that. So the Rams offense is 30.5 points a game. And then the Seahawks only have given up 17.2 points per game, which is insane. Like having a defense that gives up less than 20 points average all
Oh
year is
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah, and that makes Sam Darnold's job a lot easier. I will
It's
say.
like it does, but this is I think in a way it gives the advantage still to the Seahawks because they're at home. I mean,
Yeah.
they're gonna be more comfortable.
Well,
And like
and
you said, they're more rested.
they're well rested. Yeah.
Um, man, this is tough.
I I think I'm gonna finalize my pick.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick the Seattle Seahawks, and my reason might
Okay.
surprise you. My reason for picking Seattle is because they should win. That's it. They should win. Like if they lose this game, somebody's going to be at fault. Whether it's Sam Darnold, well, it would probably be Sam Darnold. That's whose fault it would be if they lost this game. Other than that, I don't see a world where they come into this game unprepared or, you know, not ready to play this game. The
Yeah.
Rams, the reason I can't pick the Rams is because winning 3 road playoff games is tough, especially when you went to the East Coast for Carolina. You come back home. Then you go to the East Coast for Chicago in like negative real feel. Then you come back home. Now you're going up to the 12th man in the NFC Championship game. Like how like
Yep.
if the Rams win this, major props to them. Major props if the Rams win this game, but I just can't pick them. I can't pick them because Seattle has all the right stats. Best defense at home. They should be winning this game, so that's why I'm going Seattle.
Yeah, I think as much as I want to go against that, because I do think that ultimately offensive firepower is going to outdo defensive firepower. I just don't see
Defense wins championships though.
it. Yeah, it does.
And under 20 points a game, like that's pretty crazy.
Right, but how many points did they score against each other though? That's the thing.
Right.
What were
They
their
were both
matchups? What were they
shootouts.
like?
They well, the
Right.
first one wasn't a shootout, but the second one was.
So I think it's going to be a shootout. Again, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to take I'll be different. I'm going to take the Rams. I think their offensive firepower is going to outdo the Seahawks defensive firepower. It's just been kind of the trend of the playoffs lately. Defensive firepower has not really always won.
True.
Um,
Yeah.
so we will I'll lock that in. Rams.
All right. So Andrew has a Rams Patriots Super Bowl. I have a Seahawks Patriots Super Bowl. And Ethan has a Seahawks Broncos Super Bowl. We all have different Super Bowl predictions. So that'll be interesting to
Well,
see how this
I think
shakes
one
out.
of us is bound to win the predictions, and at that point,
Well,
depending on how it plays out.
there's only one combination we're missing, which is Rams Broncos.
Yeah,
Which watch that is going to be what happens. Watch.
that'd be hilarious.
I'm going to take Seattle because they're well rested. That's my pick. And they're at home. And they've been sitting at home for the last month. Their bodies are healthier. That's my
They
reason.
might be complacent, bro. You never know. Gotta be careful.
That's
Now.
true. That's true. But yeah, I'm going Seattle. Seattle Patriots is my pick. So because Ethan also picked Seattle, I'm just going to fill Seattle out on the grid. So if the majority of the three of us, if the majority of our picks pan out, it would be Seahawks Patriots. You muted yourself, Andrew.
So I was talking to Katie. She says
Oh.
that she's predicting the Super Bowl that we didn't predict.
Oh, she thinks it's going to be Rams Broncos.
She's Rams Broncos. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is possible. It is. I mean, I do think though that is the least likely outcome of the two games because it's both underdogs. Um,
Yeah.
but you know, you never know. So Seahawks Patriots would be our consensus picks if we took the majority from both games, which
Yeah.
also just so happens to be my picks as well. Um, so yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I think now though we can move on to our head coaching discussions. But these games today are going to
Yes.
be, I mean, 2 great games. We'll see what happens, but I mean, which one, disregarding your picks, Andrew, which matchup would you most like to see in the Super Bowl, barring, whatever happens today, not based on who you think's going to win? Who would you like to see in the
I
Super
think
Bowl?
I think just based off of pure health and
Entertainment.
talent,
Oh, okay.
I,
Yeah.
I think I'd rather see I think I would rather see the way that I went would be the Rams Patriots. I'd like to see how Drake May can stand up in a huge moment. But I would also like to see the Rams talent this time around in the Super Bowl again. Because they had talent last time they were in the Super Bowl, but I don't think it was this I don't think it was this much talent they had. Um, and I think I could interchange the NFC. Really, I don't care which team makes it in. I'll be honest. Like I think either team would be very very entertaining to watch in the Super Bowl. So
Yeah. Um, I think I would also. I see the one reason why I wanted to pick the Rams is because I think they would be a more fun watch in the Super Bowl than Seattle
yes,
would. But
probably
I think Seattle is the
their play style is more entertaining for sure.
yeah, yeah. Um, okay, great. Let's move on to head coaching hires. Um, so I have here a website pulled up, um, ranking the head coaching candidates. Sorry, their landing spots and what jobs are still open. So let's just start with this paragraph right here that I'm going to highlight. Let's start with that. So the New York Giants secured John Harbaugh. I believe we talked about that last week. I think
Yeah,
that's a great hire for them. That's who they need. They need somebody who's going to come in and stabilize the organization. He's going to do a great job with that. Giants have a bright future for sure with him. The Falcons with Stefanski. I know Ethan didn't really like that hire for his favorite team so much, but I actually do think that was a good hire for them as well.
yeah,
I think he'll come in and stabilize things too. In a very weak division, they could win the division next year. That division's so
yeah.
weak. Um, let's see. So Sean McDermott got fired. The Miami Dolphins, they hired Jeff Hafley, the
Yeah.
Packers defensive coordinator. How do we feel about that hire?
I'll be honest. I don't know too much about Jeff Hafley.
He seems like a very hard
He
nosed defensive guy, culture
he
guy.
yeah he does. I've noticed a lot of these teams are going defensive with head coaching hires though.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I mean, you
I don't.
saw it. You
I'll be
saw it
honest. I
work
don't
out.
know that much about Hafley to make any judgment on him. I'm just reading a quick bit here. I guess a lot of the high points are about his creativeness in his defensive scheme and philosophies. Um, but then also, it seems like he did do a very good job at turning around the Packers defense into a solid group of guys. So
Yeah, I mean,
that's all I know just from reading a short bit. I haven't paid attention a lot about his career as a coordinator or a position coach at all. So I can't really speak on it.
I don't think it's a horrible hire, but they need a good offensive coordinator if their offense is going to be any good
Yeah, I
this
mean,
year.
I think the way a lot of NFL teams are going now is that I think the head coaches nowadays are they're removing themselves from as much power as possible in those
Yeah,
in those game time moments. So and that's something that is beneficial because why stick to one intelligent mind when you can bring in three with the head coach, OC, and DC? If
yeah,
you have three intelligent minds working together, that's going to be better than just your head coach making all the decisions.
yeah,
So hopefully he does that. And if his defensive resume is as good as advertised with how he turned the Packers defense around, um, you know, bring in the offensive guys, and you'll have a pretty well-rounded team, I
Well,
think.
here's my thing about Miami now. With Mike McDaniel, I never ever worried about their offense being good. I knew their offense was going to be good. I was worried about their defense. Now,
Yeah.
I'm worried about their offense. Their defense will be fine now as long as they can get some pieces in the
Yeah,
offseason.
but
Here's my thing.
if
You know,
their offense is healthy, they'll be fine.
right, but I don't see them having a more creative offensive mind than Mike McDaniel come into the building again. I mean, with Tua, Tua can be hot and cold. Like
Right.
he's not very consistent. They have weapons. I mean, they have who knows? Tyreek Hill, man, that was a horrible injury this year. Who knows if he's even coming back? They have
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle. He's a great receiver. They have Devon Achane, which is an incredible running back. So they have a receiver, they have a running back. They do need an offensive line, maybe a piece or two on the offensive line. If they can shore up some of those things, their defense will be way more well coached now, which is good. Um, I th- I think it's a step in the right direction. I'm eager to see who they hire as their OC. I think
Yeah.
that'll tell me
I
more.
think I think that Jeff Halfley is probably the biggest wild card
Yeah,
out of a lot of the coaches because there's not a lot to his resume, it seems, except for heavily involved in the Green Bay Packers defensive
yes,
adjustment over there. It's definitely not a John Harbaugh
no,
or a Kevin Stefanski type of hire. Um, Now I don't know if we want to shift. One of the most interesting ones, which scares me because I'm in that division, is the Jesse Minter hiring by Baltimore.
that's a great hire. That's a great
Yeah,
hire.
so that's a pretty good hire. I mean,
Because now Ravens
he,
defense is going to be insanely good. Like,
yeah, I mean that was their biggest flaw. Well, if I had to put two flaws in the Ravens' philosophy this year, it would be relying on Lamar Jackson too much, not utilizing Derrick Henry, and having a subpar defense. Um, well, that and the fact that whenever they try to make a play, their superstars kind of drop the ball, literally and
yeah,
figuratively.
yep,
Um, I talk a lot. I have a couple Ravens fan friends that we banter around a lot, off and on. And when we have like legitimate conversations, like that's what comes up is like, I'll joke as much as I can about Lamar Jackson not being a good quarterback. But at the end of the day, if your guys don't catch the ball, you can't judge the quarterback play. And it just seems like Lamar Jackson has really bad luck in key moments in games of his skill positions, letting him down. And if they were to clean that up and get their defense back on track, they're probably number one in the AFC North
yeah.
for sure. As
I would
much as
agree
it
with
pains me
that.
to say that.
I
And
I
if I
think
ever
that
had
was.
Jonathan watch this stream, I'm sure he would clip that and send it to me over and over again.
I
Um,
think that was a great hire. Um, yeah, that was a really solid. When I saw that news, I'm like, okay, the Ravens got a good one. Um, and how about this? Tennessee Titans hire Robert Sala. That was a big one. Here's the thing, though. I mean,
I don't like
I'm
Robert
not
Sala.
I'm not judging Sala with his time with the Jets because the Jets are so
Yeah, it's true.
dysfunctional.
Shouldn't be.
Nobody could go. John Harbaugh could have taken the Jets job and he would not have been able to fix the Jets. I mean, the Jets are just a dumpster fire. Um,
Yeah,
but, Sala may have some success in Tennessee because they're going to have a lot of cap space. Cam Ward's going into his second year. You know, they're going to get a couple more playmakers. The Titans have a lot to fix, but I mean, if they get a couple more pieces, they could at least be a viable team next year. And Salah runs
yeah,
a very good defense. The Niners' defense had so many pieces
yeah,
missing this year, and he still put on the field a very formidable defense.
yeah. I mean, that's a
So,
good point. And that,
you know,
that goes again with the massive defensive head coaching
right.
philosophies right now. It's kind of weird, honestly, that all these teams are going defensive for their coaching.
I mean,
Um,
you saw it pan out though with Mike Vrabel in New England this year.
it's true. Mike Vrabel and even D'Amico Ryans from
Right, that
Houston,
panned
and
out. That panned out.
you know, I don't know about. Well, obviously, the Rams are an offensive-minded coach.
Well, I mean, I know McDermott got fired, but he's more of a defensive-minded guy. But
Yeah, he was a defensive guy. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I honestly, I think you're right though about Salas. We can't judge him on his time with the Jets. The Jets are a dumpster fire. They're like the Browns. Like whoever takes that job is gonna fail. There's no question about it.
And then the big news that just came out yesterday. It's in our title of the video. This is a big deal. Our viewers may have been waiting for this moment. Mike McCarthy to the Steelers. What do you think, Steelers fan? let's get your take.
Number one, I'm severely disappointed about the name because I was really hoping that they would hold out and interview some of the Rams guys, like Shula and what's his name? I can't pronounce his name, but their passing game coordinator, Nate Shalhees or something like that. You know who I'm talking about, Santorum?
Yeah.
I was really hoping they would hold out until the Rams were done. Now I can understand why they didn't hold out, because if the Rams go on a Super Bowl run, they're not going to be able to interview them for weeks. You know, they'd have the Pro Bowl week to interview them. Unfortunately, that's probably too much time. I do know that there was a report that Pittsburgh was willing to change their philosophy within their head coaching hiring, which means, unlike the other teams that we've spoken about, they wanted to go more offensive minded, which they did. And so with that, I am happy. I am glad that we're not going to put as much head coaching prowess into the defensive side, because I do think, I mean, there's still some defensive coordinators out there that we have interviewed already. We've interviewed the Vikings guy. His name's blanking me. Flores. We interviewed Flores already.
That would be an. Are you kidding?
If we could bring him in as a DC on top of hiring McCarthy as the head coach, that'd be amazing. I'm all for that. And Mike Flores worked in our system already. He was our linebackers coach 2 years ago. And that was I think he worked as our linebackers coach the year that I think that was the year that TJ Watt almost broke the sack record. So
I'll tell you what,
we'll see how that goes.
I saw the odds on Polymarket. They spiked down. The odds of
Santor,
Aaron
I don't know
Rodgers.
if you're frozen or not, but you're frozen on my end.
Oh, no, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Well, I think he's
Can you hear me?
Either I'm out for the count or Santoro's out for the count right now. But anyway, back to the McCarthy stuff. If everyone can still hear me.
I can hear you.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, okay.
Was that you or me that lagged out?
Well, I could hear you that whole time, and nothing was frozen for me. So
yeah, you were frozen on my end, but it's fine. I'll continue to talk. Anyway, I think if the reason they had to bring in McCarthy was because they didn't want to lose out on other candidates later. Like, honestly, they could interview Shula for their defensive coordinator job, or even better would be Nate Shieldhouse for the OC job, which would be if I had the ideal coaching staff right now, I think it would be if they're going Mike McCarthy as head coach, because he's good at working with quarterbacks. I was just looking at stats. He had top 5 offenses when he was with Dallas. Contrary to what people joke about with Dallas and not being able to complete the job in the playoffs, they did have a top 5 scoring offense in his 4 years as Dallas's head coach. You can't deny the numbers. So there's that, which I am excited about, to see if he can reproduce that in Pittsburgh. He's got the talent on the offense. The biggest question still is the quarterback. But again, back to my ideal coaching staff, I think it would be Mike McCarthy as the head coach right now, and then interviewing both the Rams coordinators. Shieldhouse isn't a coordinator; he's their passing game coordinator. Interviewing him for the OC job and hiring him, and then getting Flores back on board with the organization as the defensive coordinator. I think that would be one of the best coaching staffs in the league, to be quite honest with you. And I think that it would produce much more than enough mentality change within the organization to not just run it back the same way as they've been. Part of the biggest problems I've been seeing in the Pittsburgh media and the fan base has been the fact that Mike McCarthy is basically the same as Mike Tomlin. And I disagree. You can't compare anyone to Mike Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin's on a level of his own. The numbers are similar, but Mike McCarthy is not a he is not a an ownership style head coach where he doesn't let his coaches do anything. He he doesn't just give all of the say in what the offense and defense does. That was also part of Mike Tomlin's problem, where what he said goes, and he didn't give his defensive coordinator a lot of power. Mike McCarthy didn't give the defensive coordinator power um, to do whatever they want. And I think that's going to be huge for a defense that's been lacking on schematic innovation for like the last 10 years. Um, anyway, yeah, we'll see. I think that McCarthy isn't the best hire, but I don't think it's the worst, is
Yeah,
essentially what I'm getting. As
yeah,
long as he can bring in some intelligent coaches around him, he'll be fine. He
yeah.
can focus on quarterback development the entire time, to be honest with you, if he does that.
I would agree with that. I mean, do you think that Aaron Rodgers is coming back at all?
Yeah, that's the other question. I'll start with this. I wouldn't mind if he comes back because I think we were joking about this last night when we were playing our F1 season. We were joking around that like he was not the problem in Pittsburgh last season or this past season. And in fact, Aaron Rodgers was the reason that they won a lot of their games last year.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Um, so if he does come back, I'm not against it. I'm not 100% for it, but I'm not against it. I think it would be a good learning experiment with Will Howard still. I think they should get rid of Mason Rudolph, ship him out somewhere, or just not re-sign him if he's a free agent, and just stick with Will Howard as the backup. Um, but
Yeah,
that's
I
where I want to
mean,
see Mike McCarthy develop Will Howard. You know, that's his prowess right now. According to reports, that's what wowed the Pittsburgh organization in the interview was the fact that he was intrigued by Will Howard's upside, and he has a resume for developing quarterbacks and becoming top scoring offensive.
yeah.
Um, and so
I
we'll
mean,
see. We'll see how it goes. I'm not going to put my hope in anything because I just don't know, and I'm not the biggest fan of Mike McCarthy. But we'll see.
I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I mean, I just feel like I don't think Mike McCarthy is the guy to get them to the Super Bowl again. I think in
Yeah,
my mind he's more of a bridge guy, like he comes in for a couple years, you know. But here's the thing, the Steelers don't fire their coaches. So is Mike McCarthy here for like 10 years? Who knows? I mean,
I mean
maybe
I think the contract is 5 years. Now actually I was just scrolling in this the article I have. Apparently Pittsburgh has in fact had let me see here. They did hold virtual interviews with Chris Shula and Nate Shieldhouse.
there you go.
So they don't necessarily have no interaction with them. So that's encouraging.
Yeah,
I know they did have an in-person interview with Flores. So they've been talking to these people. So I can only hold out hope that if they don't lose out those coaches, that they'll at least try to, you know, a lot of Shieldhouse's um, motivation might be the increase in pay and responsibilities as a coordinator.
sure.
He's only their passing game guy now, but he could be a total offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh, making more money, having more say in the decisions. That might be very enticing to a guy like him. So
Sure.
I'm holding. I don't really care what the DC job is as long as it's not Terrell Austin again, like they've had.
Yeah.
So honestly, like my main concern with what Pittsburgh does right now is the offensive side because that's what's holding them back. I trust that whoever they bring on the defensive side will put enough change in mentality to get the highest paid defense in the NFL where they need to be next year
Yeah.
as far as statistics.
Yep. So Um, Super fast, I just want to touch on the Eagles' offensive coordinator job because it seems like nobody wants it. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
But you know what, though? I mean, if you're somebody who's looking for a head coaching job, but you're not there yet, take the Eagles' OC job. It's a free head coaching job afterwards. I think we are losing connection with Andrew right now, so I'm just going to keep talking. The Eagles' offensive coordinator position, they've interviewed a couple people. Matt Nagy is a name that sticks out to me. Obviously he won 2 Super Bowls with the Chiefs. You know, he's a guy who could come in here and implement an offense that I think would succeed. Obviously, he's a very experienced play caller, and that is what the Eagles need right now. Andrew is still connecting. The Eagles need somebody with experience at play calling. That's what destroyed them this year. I mean, they did not have a guy like Kevin Patullo had zero experience calling plays. And that's what you come up with, a guy who calls 4 verts on 4th and 11 for the season. So that just wasn't going to happen. So Matt Nagy would be nice. Brian Daboll, I mean, yes, he's worked with Jalen Hurts before, but I do worry about that a little bit just because I feel like his personality could clash a little bit with Nick Sirianni. Andrew, can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I lost a little bit of connection there. Can you hear
That's
me?
fine. Yeah,
Right,
yeah, I can
my
hear you. I was just talking to the viewers about the Eagles' offensive coordinator search. And they've interviewed a couple people already. Matt Nagy sticks out to me a lot, actually, because
Yeah,
he won 2 Super Bowls in Kansas City. I know, it's Andy Reid, it's Mahomes, blah, blah, blah. But, he's calling plays. He's a very experienced play caller. He knows how to implement an offense. And that's literally all the Eagles need. They need a guy with experience to come in there and know how to call plays and know what the flow of the game is. Because that was
yeah,
Kevin Patullo's downfall, is he had no sense of game flow or game management. He had no sense of when to call certain plays, and that's just what the Eagles have to avoid with this new offensive coordinator. I was also
I agree
talking
with
about,
that.
say it again?
I agree with that.
Yeah, and I feel like with Brian Daboll, I actually, as much as he's worked with Jalen Hurts before, I actually don't know that I like that for a fit in Philly,
Oh my God.
just because I feel like he would clash heads with Sirianni a little bit. They're both very angry people that tend to get very emotional, and you don't
Yeah.
need that. You don't need more of that. So,
Well, I don't know what when I was trying to fix my connection issue. I don't know what all you talked about solo there. But I was gonna add at some point when you were kind of done talking about it. You mentioned that it doesn't seem like an attractive position. And I saw an article, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that it seems like one of the biggest issues with that job is your run game coach, your running game coordinator. What's his name? Do you know? I can't remember what
not
his name
not
is,
off the
but
top of my head, but
I'll
tell
I'll
tell
search
me
it real
more though.
quick.
Tell me more.
Yeah, so I heard that while I Google his name, I'll try to get it for you. But I heard that the reason why the job is so unattractive is because whoever's in charge of the run game or I guess is the offensive line coach.
Oh, Stoutland?
Um,
He's the offensive line coach. Jeff Stoutland.
yeah, um, I heard that he is not planning on leaving anytime soon. Obviously, I mean, I wouldn't
Well,
plan on that one,
Stoutland's not the
but
problem.
yeah. Yeah, Jeff Stoutland, that is the
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
And
he's
so
the
I've
yeah.
I've heard that because he's there, he has a lot of say in how the running game is coordinated. And the next OC that comes in here, I think is gonna want to have to they don't want to have to butt heads with Stoutland as the veteran coach to make philosophy changes.
I mean that's
Um,
fair, but that I don't really like that argument because Kellen Moore came in here and won a Super Bowl with a very good offense, and he would have had to do the same thing.
right.
So I mean, Kellen Moore, oh my goodness, those were the glory days. I know it was just last year, but Kellen
Yeah,
Moore's offense fit the Eagles' personnel like a glove. Fit it like a glove. I mean, you couldn't have drawn up a better offensive coordinator for the Eagles
absolutely.
than Kellen Moore last year. I mean, that was insane. But I mean, you just need a guy with experience to come in here. And you could have argued like there were people arguing online, especially Cowboys fans last year when we hired Kellen Moore. Oh, he's got issues, with calling plays or designing an offense. He didn't do anything in Dallas, blah blah blah, and he hadn't done anything in Los Angeles either. But then he comes to Philly and does it. So it's
Yeah,
like and when they hired him, they were looking for a guy with play calling experience who knows how to implement an offense. Up to that point, Kellen Moore actually like he's been successful, but he didn't have the level of
yeah,
success that everybody thought he would have. So that's all the Eagles need is a guy who's going to come in here with some offensive upside. You know, I this I know we've talked about before. Is Jalen Hurts a top 10 quarterback? Blah blah blah. My thing is when he's had competent play callers, he has been a top 10 quarterback. This year, I would agree he was not good, but the offensive scheme was so vanilla. Like it was, I
yeah.
could have called better plays on Madden. So it's just like I'm just. It's not Jalen Hurts' fault that the offense faltered this year. And I think they know that because they fired Kevin Patullo right after the
Yeah.
loss. So is it an
I'm trying to
attractive
find
job?
that.
I mean, I would think that it would be because it's a one-way path to a head coaching job.
Yeah.
Because every offensive coordinator that was any sort of good in the past 5 years has gotten an OC job from being with the Eagles. You talk about Shane Steichen to the Colts, Kellen Moore to the Saints. I mean, and then you've
Yeah.
got two guys who were completely incompetent and got fired immediately. So,
But speaking of the offensive line, because we mentioned Statland, what do you
yes,
think is the future of the Eagles offensive line? Because I'll be honest, it seems like they dropped down a couple steps from what they were.
they did, and I can tell you why. I can tell you why they did. Lane Johnson was out half the year, and he's getting old.
Okay.
They need a
Yeah.
replacement at right tackle. They need a replacement. Jordan Mailata at left tackle is the surest part of that O line right now. They like
Which is
he
kind of
is
crazy to say.
well, but he's insanely good though. Like PFF rating, he's insane. He's one of the best left tackles in the league.
Yeah.
Which is insane when you think about how he was drafted 7th round from Australia, and he was kind of a flyer pick. But Stoutland molded him and made him great, and it was awesome to see. Cam Jurgens, our center, he's had injury issues. Landon Dickerson at left guard, he's had some injury problems. And Tyler Steen, the second year out of Alabama at right guard, he's shown some growth, but he's still a young guy who's I think he's still trying to get his feet on the ground. But the problem with the Eagles this year was number one, lots of injury issues on the offensive line. Dickerson missed a couple games. Jurgens missed a couple games. Lane Johnson was out half the year, so we had no consistency there whatsoever this year. And last year for the Super Bowl, we had Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton? Either way. He was actually really good at right guard last year. And we didn't have any injuries last year, so we lost a key piece of the offensive line in the off season. And Lane Johnson being out half the year doesn't help either. But what they need
Yeah.
is they need to
True.
draft and or sign Lane Johnson's replacement at right tackle, and they just need to get healthy at the guard position, essentially.
Yeah.
But this year, yes, there was some regression, but I kind of expected that because they all stayed extremely healthy last year, and Saquon rushed for 2,000. Even I knew that wasn't
Yeah.
happening again this year. It's hard to be that consistent in the NFL.
So
Um,
just to backtrack a bit, I found the statement from one of the what website I'm on. It's like an article from this site called Essentially Sports. I don't know what kind of credit they have in the media world, but they have the quote that I saw, whether it was from this or not. It says another potential holdup in the Eagles coordinator search and why some candidates might not want the job is ... Jeff Stoutland. Stoutland is one of the most respected O-line coaches in the history of the NFL,
Oh, yeah.
but he's also the Eagles' run game coordinator. And a lot of OCs want full control of the offense and want to bring their own run game coordinators to fit their scheme and play calling. Obviously, the Eagles want to keep Stoutland because they should.
Well, yeah, he's an elite offensive line coach. Yeah.
But that was what I saw earlier this week about why the Eagles might have a hard time signing these big names. Like they've already lost out on Mike McDaniel, and they probably will lose out on Dable. Did he go anywhere yet? I don't know for
No,
sure.
but I don't think that's a good fit anyway. I don't think Dable's a good
Maybe
fit.
not. But they could also lose out on Nagy if he wants to control the run game.
Cliff Kingsbury is another name that's still out there. Cliff Kingsbury, that would be a good hire.
Yeah,
too.
true. But he's also a coach that probably has his own ideas.
He does. He does.
And not wanting to give total control away from the run game. It's just.
I think here's my thing.
I hope that that's not. I hope that that's not an issue with these. That's a lot of disrespect to Stoutland if that's what these coordinators are thinking. And in my mind, if I'm a coordinator, I like the fact that I don't have to put my mental brain power into 100% of the running game. Like,
right.
If I was an OC and saw that I can get a pay raise by switching teams and also not doing as much work, I would take that job in a heartbeat. I'm not saying less work as in less effort. I'm just saying they can focus elsewhere on their job rather than the running game. Like, I don't know. That to me, the Eagles' job for OC seems the most enticing because of the roster, because of the coaches that are already there.
Right.
And the success they've had the last 5 years. Like,
exactly.
It blows my mind that a guy wouldn't want to come in and just add to that nature.
Right.
But
here's my
thing. And ignorant.
I will end the discussion on this is that as long as whoever they hire has previous play calling experience and statistically has had a top 10 offense within the past couple years, as long as experienced play calling, great offensive success, that's all I want. And honestly, there's a lot of guys like that out there right now. So they shouldn't have too big of an issue finding the guy that they want because they've interviewed like 8 guys so far. So it's like they're gonna have their pick of the litter when it comes to who they want. I think they're just taking their time to decide, which is fine. You want to make sure you get the right guy in there who's gonna add to the culture and add to the offense. But last thing I want to discuss today before we head out, if you're still watching, shout out to you. There are 4 more head coaching jobs open. And I want to just briefly discuss each job. The Arizona Cardinals job is still open. That is not...
That's a rough job.
I agree with this paragraph right here. Like, this is not a great job to take because Kyler Murray's not going to be there. Who's the quarterback? You're going to have to either sign one or draft one. And the defense is not good. The offense has some playmakers, but I mean, this franchise has 0 direction right now. Like, where are they going? They will be a bottom 3 team next year, guaranteed. They are not going to do anything. It's not a good outlook for the Cardinals. I think I'll just leave it at that because there's nothing that enticing that would make anyone want to take that job, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
they just we've talked before. They have no identity on their team to even want to build off of. Like, they have a couple of talented guys. Like, they've got their rookie receiver from last year, Marvin Harrison Jr. But what else do they have besides that guy? Let's see.
And James Conner's really old. Their best player right now is Trey McBride, their tight end. He's insane. But
Trey McBride is a beast.
Yeah.
But like, again, that's not having one tight end and one wide receiver is not enough to build off of on an offense at all.
No. I agree. And I mean, you look at the Browns' job. That's not really that
No
enticing of
one,
a job
no
either.
one wants that job either. You got a terrible quarterback room. Like they're gonna have to go. They might even go quarterback again this draft just to
Jeez.
put another body in there. Like I just don't understand what the Browns' philosophy is, and it's weird to say that because I play them twice a year in my division. How do you go about your organization and still not have a number one quarterback? Like since I don't even know how long, like since the late '90s,
Right.
they haven't had a steady quarterback. It's
Their
ridiculous.
most steady quarterback has been Baker Mayfield because he won a playoff game with them. That's it.
Right. Exactly. And that they didn't even go on a deep run that year. They beat Pittsburgh on Big Ben's farewell tour, and
Right.
it's just like I don't
Um,
know.
I will say, yeah, this is not an enticing job, especially because Shadur's probably starting next year, and their
Yeah.
defense is strong. Their defense is strong. Um, Offensively, they're missing a lot of pieces. They're missing a lot of pieces on offense. Um, but I, I don't know about you. I probably would take the Browns job over the Cardinals job if I had to pick.
You think so?
Because I mean the Cardinals don't have any direction at all and a horrible defense. At least the Browns have a formidable defense. And I would argue the Cardinals are in the tougher division with the NFC West. I mean, I know the AFC East is no or the AFC North is no cakewalk, but the NFC West is insanely stacked with good coaching and good
Yeah.
teams.
Yep.
So I would probably lean towards the Browns because at least they have the defensive side of the ball correct. So
Yeah.
moving on, we've got two more head coaching positions that are still open. The Raiders. This one is enticing to me, actually, because you're getting Fernando Mendoza. You have
Yeah.
Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers. Um, Max Crosby is still a superstar on the defensive line. Um, you
I feel
know,
like they're gonna probably trade him. To be honest with you,
they
I think
might.
he's gonna be on the trade block.
They might. But you know what, though? Whoever comes in here is going to have a little bit of leeway with a rookie quarterback. You know, um, I could see Sean McDermott going to the Raiders. Actually, that would be a pretty
Maybe.
interesting hire for them. Uh,
It's just about how they're going to build in the draft right now. Again, they're another team. Like they have players, but they just don't have enough players. They've
yeah,
got they've got Jaunty and they've got Brock Bowers, like you said. Their receivers, though, like
not great. They've got like
they just
nobody.
don't have a number one or number two receiver. Like I would argue that a lot of their receivers wouldn't even be number two on every team. Um,
I
Now
mean, they
obviously their
they
biggest
traded
question is
away
quarterback.
they traded away Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, I know.
So
But he's not even a number one on most teams. He's a number two at best. At best.
yeah. So, I mean,
Um,
I still think the Raiders though it's an enticing job because it's a young team and you have the ability to clean house and start fresh with the Raiders. Um, but that
well,
division that
here's the good
division's
thing
tough.
is they have Tom Brady as an owner. Like,
Yes.
um, and I think I said this on a different show that we did that like a lot of teams are going that route now. You see that with Matt Ryan as well.
Yeah.
Um, Getting into the Falcons ownership offices. Um, I would hope that Tom Brady can evaluate talent better than whoever was doing it in the past for the Raiders.
Yeah.
The Raiders have hit on picks. It's just there's just something about their later picks. Like they don't seem to hit on more than first round picks lately. And that's a tough thing as a team. If you're not hitting on your first 3 or 4 rounds, then you have no hope for any kind of depth. You have
No.
no hope for any kind of development. Um, it's very rare that you find the Tom Brady or whatever type of pick.
I mean, this wasn't Pete Carroll's fault. He just didn't have anybody to work with. The roster was horrible. So it's like
Yeah, it's bad. Like you're gonna tell me that you expect to go places with Geno Smith as your quarterback?
Right.
That's crazy.
Now, what I will say is there is hope because of Mendoza. You get to coach a young quarterback, so that's
Right.
the one enticing thing about this job.
Yeah.
And then, last but not least, this is the big one, the Buffalo Bills. What a big job that is. That's because I'm telling
Oh
you
boy.
what we talked about what the Bills need. We talked about what they need. They don't need a lot. They need a receiver and they need a couple defensive pieces, like maybe some additions to their secondary. But I mean, they do not need a lot. They have the tight end, they have the running back, they have the offensive line, they have the quarterback. They need one really good receiver, and they need some defensive pieces, and that's all they need. Now, word on the street is that Brian Daboll is actually going for the Bills' job. He was their quarterbacks coach for Josh Allen
Yeah.
when
Yep.
Josh Allen was younger. So I mean, he gets the chance to work with Allen again. There's familiarity there. I mean, I don't think Brian Daboll would be a horrible hire for them, because he'll get that offensive side of the
No.
ball right, and they just need to
He's
bring in
another
a
one of those
good.
coaches you can't really judge based on their past tenures with their teams. Like yeah, the Giants, they're a dumpster fire too when Dable was there. They didn't have any sort of realistic expectations. They were just kind of there.
Right. Um,
And they didn't have the playmakers to do anything. So it was very similar to Salah and the Jets.
Now, I don't think whoever gets this Bills job is going to have a long leash. Like, if the Bills miss the playoffs this year, I think whoever they hire will be fired. Um, I'm just, they might be
I
one
don't
and
know about
done.
that.
If the Bills do not make the playoffs, their coach is getting fired. Like,
Yeah, we'll see.
because
We'll
you
see.
don't fire Sean McDermott, who's made the postseason what 6 or 7 years in a row, and then hire a
Yeah.
coach who misses out and keep him. That's not how that works. If your expectation is to go to Super
Yeah.
Bowls, and then you hire somebody and he doesn't even make the playoffs, you had Sean McDermott. You had an insta playoff berth every year, and you fired that. So I mean, I still don't agree that they should have fired McDermott because it wasn't his problem. Their GM has drafted two all-pro players in the past like 8 years. Just two.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
Their
pathetic.
GM cannot draft at all. It was
Yeah,
not
maybe they
Sean
should have fired their
McDermott's fault.
GM.
Yeah, it was not McDermott's fault that he had a roster that just wasn't good enough. That's not his fault.
Yeah. That's you're I mean you're 100% right. You can't win with a roster that's built for you by someone who can't do anything, right? Like
Right.
it's as simple as that. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. I mean, whoever goes there will be successful. I don't see them firing him if they have one bad year because I think the Bills are kind of going to be in a partial rebuild if they can't win with just Josh Allen. Like that you really can't. They do need to get their draft antics together and they need to get some good free agency acquisitions and they could be a good powerhouse again. But you can't just rely on Josh Allen. You're going to kill the guy with that
Right.
kind of pressure.
Yep.
But anyway, I
So,
want to I want to try to end things here because I gotta put Ben down for a nap and
absolutely.
relieve Katie of that. It's been almost 2 hours, so
Yeah, we had a lot to talk about today, but we've got some good games on today. So we'll see what happens there.
yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you for
Not to
watching.
mention, I got to snow blow my driveway
Oh
soon.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, time to do that. All right. Well,
but,
thanks for tuning in. If you watched, feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. And thanks for tuning in to another episode of Gridiron and Gridlock. We will see you next Sunday at 11 a.m. Hopefully, Ethan will be joining us. I don't see why he wouldn't be. So,
yeah.
we'll see you guys later.
All right. See ya.
See ya.